This is the Dry Cereal Podcast episode. On this episode of the Dry Cereal Podcast, neighborhood news. Trump leaves it up to the governors to reopen the economy amid protests in some states. And Black AF review. All that and a little bit more coming up next. Alright guys, this is the Dry Cereal Podcast, episode number 7. And we are back. What's going on, Tim?
Oh, nothing much.
Yeah, we had a little break, like a 2-week break, so because we are back in the studio. Anything exciting happened in the last 2 weeks since the last time we recorded?
No, I just really appreciated this meme that was going around that asked you to name old black man names. And
Yeah, that's actually my question of the day today too. Because I need you to defend your statement.
All right.
And I need your friend to defend her statement too.
Oh, okay.
Because it didn't make sense.
Okay.
I don't get it.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that a little later though.
Okay.
But besides that,
that was the most exciting thing that's happened for me in the past 2 weeks.
I saw you went on another bike ride.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw that right?
Yep. I went to Gwynn Falls Trails.
That's Gwynn Falls, like Baltimore.
It's like the
right?
county.
County.
Close to the county.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really refreshing.
How many miles is that?
I'm not sure how many miles I did. We didn't go far on the trail, but we mostly just rode from pretty much my neighborhood there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. I wasn't even tracking my miles.
Is that your friend that you normally go on the rides with?
I don't really have a regular set of people I go bike riding with anymore. But that was like our second bike ride together.
Oh, that's exciting. I can't remember the last time I rode a bike.
Really?
Yeah, like it's been a long time since I actually.
I recommend it for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you'll be out there for 2 hours, but it feels like you've been gone for like 3 days.
Really?
Yeah, it's just it's a great way to get your mind off things.
That's cool. I don't know, what did I do these last 2 weeks? I just worked mainly. I do have some news though so during these 2 weeks, I was actually able to do a lot of editing for our YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
Dry Cereal TV on YouTube. You like that plug? But what did you think of the thumbnails I was sending you?
I liked them. I felt like none of them were embarrassing.
Okay, except for the one you're like, why's his hand?
Oh, one of them had a caption I didn't understand.
Which
It
one?
was like, I don't recognize you. The caption was, I don't recognize you.
Oh, that I was just trying to like play with names for the episode or whatever. But when I say I don't recognize you, I'm talking about like the economy, or what like before and after, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going for, but people might not understand that though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I got a lot of videos done during this time. So I was like, cause I'm always trying to like figure out how the YouTube algorithm works.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this software that like it kind of like scores the YouTube channel and like gives you a score of your videos for how well it will do if people are searching for like certain things.
Oh wow.
So I've been playing with that for like the last.
You're such a nerd, Roger.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how this shit works though.
So there's an algorithm for YouTube
Yeah.
that pretty much ensures that your videos will be viewed.
Right, but like there's a lot of like they change the algorithm all the time, but there's so many variables.
Mm-hmm.
It's like and one of the variables that I've seen just of all the YouTube videos that I watch is like, oh, you need to have a good thumbnail.
Oh.
So people will want to click on it and actually like watch the.
Got it. That makes sense.
Watch it, right? So that was the thing. So like I know thumbnail is part of that. The title of the video is part of that too. Like there's so many other things. Whatever it's like your descriptions, your metadata, like all that stuff. Am I speaking gibberish right now?
No, that makes sense.
You make sense. Okay, yeah. So it's like just like a lot of stuff that goes into that. But I also was working on. So like, I've been sitting on like ideas for like TV shows for like years, or whatever, right? So, and I'm actually trying to produce one. This TV show that I was telling you about. I'm not gonna say it on camera, but if you know me, you know what I'm talking about, right? But so I've been sitting on this for 3 years, or actually it's probably like 5 years now, 5 or 6 years actually, I think. But so I actually like put together. They call it the treatment. It's basically like a summary of 3 shows, 3 TV shows, or actually 3 TV shows that I want to like try to get made somehow. Right. So and I actually have a conference call with a producer tomorrow. So I submitted all my information on this website, right? And I actually got to like pick a producer that I think might be interested in my product or whatever. So and then like I gave her like the 3 outlines that I did, and I want her to like tell me which one she thinks could work the best. And like basically like she's gonna give me like an outline of like which market she thinks would be good for whatever, like how to distribute it, whether it should go on like Netflix or like cable TV or
how much
Hulu
you had to
or
pay her
whatever.
for that?
Like I paid like $397. $397, but I already made the money back, so it wasn't a waste to me, whatever. But I feel like if I'm trying to like do this for real, whatever, I need to invest in myself somehow, whatever. So there may be a chance that she might pick mine to want to produce. But even in the event that she doesn't, at least the advice, and then I'll have an outline, and maybe I'll have even more clarity as to how to get somebody else to look at it now. Right, so that's what I'm really going for, whatever. So whether she takes it or not, cool. But or hopefully she does. But even if she doesn't, then I'll at least have more clarity.
That's dope.
But so guys, keep your fingers crossed. But with that said, I have a joke. You ready? Jatem, what makes a good tongue twister?
I give up.
Well, it's actually hard to say.
Is that it?
Yeah. Get it?
That might have been the worst joke, Roger, since we started the show.
That was the worst
Least
one.
impactful. Not the worst, because they're all bad. They're all bad in a good way.
Alright guys, next up we have neighborhood news, and we will be right back. Thank you for tuning in to Neighborhood News. I'm Roger Haynes.
And I'm AZ.
Today's top story. A horse rescued from an old water well in Oklahoma. And as it turns out, the horse could not see that well. The Oklahoma City Fire Department said it took about an hour and a half to rescue the horse that fell into an old water well on its owner's property. And after a brief medical evaluation, the department said the horse did not appear to have any serious injuries and is in stable condition.
Things are a bit shaky in California as a 3.6 magnitude earthquake strikes the LA region. There's no telling who's at fault.
Lindsay Lohan teases an album release date for the first time in 15 years. But don't be fooled, this is an apparent trap. What a mean girl.
Nearly 100 beehives stolen from Northern California orchard. The buzz is authorities will be conducting a sting operation.
A trio of pigs wandered into a grocery store in Russia and raided the liquor aisle. Apparently, it is true that these little piggies went to the market. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. Alright guys, we are back. Now a lot of talk's been going on about when the economy is going to reopen. And I know originally Trump wanted everything to be back to normal by April 30th, right? So when he was, pretty much his whole presidency has kind of been like, this is what I want to do. I want to do this, and like not, he doesn't really want to listen to other people. But now, I think he realized that things opening the 30th are not realistic, and he has now given the governors of each state full reign to make their own decisions about when they want to reopen their state. But my thought on that is, I just think that Trump didn't want to be blamed if something worse happened, which is why he did that for each state, because he could have, because he likes to point fingers all the time, right? So he's just gonna say, oh well, I gave him free reign, but he said that he thought it was good enough, so that's why they opened. But I mean, that's not my fault. I think that's why he did it. But have you seen or did you hear about the protesters?
Oh yeah.
My friend sent me an article, and I think Michigan was one of the first states to have protesters.
Yep.
In Lansing. But me personally, nobody wants to be in this situation. Because this is inconvenient for everybody. So I really don't think protesting is gonna do anything in this situation.
I think they're concerned about the economy. It's like it's like a lose-lose situation. If you open it back up, people are gonna die.
Yeah.
If you don't open it up, it's gonna be pretty tragic for.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of businesses are hurting right now.
Yeah, cities are about
cities
to
are hurting.
We're running out of money.
But I think there's just the articles that I've read, there hasn't really been anything saying what's the criteria for them to reopen the states or the economy. There's no criteria. It's just we just got to see when the deaths plateau. It's basically what they're waiting for to me.
So the deaths have not started plateauing, correct? I think they're slowing down, but not plateauing.
What's the number that it's going to be when the plateaus up?
Well, plateauing is just, it's no longer going up. People are still going to be dying, but they're going to be dying at a consistent rate. So I think once they start slowing down, it's a good sign that it's about to plateau. And I heard in New York, they're slowing down.
I've heard New York. Is that the only state that they're slowing down now?
I don't know. I haven't been watching and listening to the news enough to know, but I think so. I know for a fact New York. Governor Cuomo said this wasn't God, this was us. We slowed down the trajectory of the virus, not God.
Was he the guy that said that there are things more important than living? Did you hear about that?
No. That wasn't Cuomo.
But what was that?
I can't remember. There's been a lot of really crazy stuff. So there was a Michigan legislator who wore a Confederate flag mask to the House of Reps or something like that. I'm terrible with government stuff, but he was on his job. He was working in front of everybody.
With the
and then he had a Confederate flag. And to me, I appreciate that because it makes you aware of what this is really about. There are people who don't care if people are going to die because the assumption is the majority of them are going to be black people or poor people, and they don't matter. So why should everyone hurt for black people? That's why I think those people are protesting. Like, they just see it as being irrelevant. They just, yeah, most of the...
Because those white people that were protesting, it wasn't black people that were out there, right?
Yeah, predominantly white, look like, you know, working class, hillbilly-ish type. Not to say that those are the type that are racist. I think you can't really put a category on racism. I think no one is immune from it.
Yeah.
And I think liberal, educated white people get a pass a lot of times for their racism. So.
Yeah, I hear you. And it's just like, I've just heard that, I know at least from Maryland, that they're gonna start, I guess with this 3-phase plan.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, you heard about that?
Yeah.
Where it's like, they're gonna start letting, I think at the beginning of May actually, they're gonna start letting some businesses open back up. And then if they don't see a spike in deaths or cases, then it might just be deaths, so I don't know if it's deaths and cases or just deaths, but then they're gonna go to phase 2, let a few more businesses open, and then kind of sit back and wait to see what's gonna happen. So
Yeah.
I mean, I still think like it's probably gonna be like midsummer by the time like everything's like really back to.
I don't think so.
Do you think it'll be after that?
I think Trump is saying now that at the end of the summer it'll be fully open, like the economy will be fully open.
End of the summer.
Yeah, but I've heard that's not even realistic. I'm hearing that's not realistic.
Yeah.
I think over the next year at least, it's going to be like a process of like restricting and then loosening those restrictions and then restricting again. Like it's just going to be like.
But I think even if the economy is, or once it does get back to normal, I think that masks are going to be a part of everyday life now.
Everyday life forever?
I mean, for an extended period of time. I don't know.
I think at least 3 years. That's what I've been saying.
I just think that places of business are gonna, they're probably gonna start limiting the number of people that can go into each space now. It's gonna be harder to go out just to go out, I think.
Yeah, definitely restaurants.
Yeah, and it, like limit the number of people. You have to wear masks. It's probably like you guys be 6 feet apart.
I think college is going to be online.
Yeah, that would.
Nobody's going to pay like $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
The risk of dying.
Yeah. That was that would suck though. If I just got to Hampton, whatever, right?
Mhm.
And then I had to leave to come home.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that.
That'd be a huge interruption.
Yeah, it's like a huge interruption, and I purposely left Michigan. I don't want to basically leave to go right back to do classes online.
Yeah.
But I mean, hopefully, we'll have some sort of normalcy soon. At least like I just want to be able to maybe like go out to eat or go to a happy hour or something. I don't really require a lot. I just want to be able to do something every once in a while. Like this is I mean, well, it's inconvenient for everybody. Inconvenience is the wrong word, but I'm saying like I'm just getting tired of like being cooped up in the house all the time. So I basically just go to work, come record the podcast, and then try to tell jokes online.
Yeah.
And that's really all I've been doing. But I've actually been able to save some freaking money, whatever. I have a goal. I have a goal that I'm trying to get to before this is over. So.
That's good.
But you have anything else to add?
I think it's gonna be about 3 more years until things go back to normal.
It's a long time.
We'll see. I could be completely wrong.
I mean, I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong.
But guys, we will be back talking about #BlackAF review. a show that came out recently on Netflix, and I guess in the past week. By the creator of Blackish, right? And the show is titled #BlackAF. Which I watched the show. Like, there were some episodes that I missed, but I pretty much saw the show, and from what I did see, I thought the show was funny. Just like the certain scenes, and I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to do it like Larry David, and with Curb Your Enthusiasm. But me personally, I thought this was a little bit better than Curb Your Enthusiasm, though.
Why?
It was like from a younger perspective. Larry David is older, right? And me personally, I just felt like I could relate to things that, or maybe not relate necessarily, but I thought things that Kenya was going through were funnier than what Larry was going through, and like the stuff that Larry would talk about on the show as opposed to Kenya. What are your thoughts on the show? I know you have a strong opinion.
Yeah, immediately I was just like, what does this guy have with making like his female lead family like racially ambiguous? I'm really critical when it comes to like representation and how we're presented in the media. I can't help it. It's like something, once you become aware of it, you can't turn it off. So that had my antenna up. So I didn't really come into it with the best attitude. Maybe I shouldn't have read articles. Like I read some articles about it, and they were basically saying that he kind of centers his whole existence on the show based off of, number one, people being upset that they don't acknowledge, that him being upset that people don't acknowledge his superiority. He's like, really thinks highly of himself, and he just doesn't feel like, he feels like his family takes him for granted and everybody else. But the second thing that really bothers me, and I noticed it when I watched it, how it's almost like it's not really a black show. When I think of a black show, I think of a show being kind of like made for black people. So they're going to say certain things, and they're going to not explain certain things, and then maybe explain certain things from the perspective of like black culture. So it seems very performative for white people. Like it's very tuned into the white gaze. Like, are you familiar with like the male gaze and the white gaze? So the male gaze is like how when you watch a music video. That's a better example. They'll like zoom in on the boobs, and then they'll zoom in on the ass, and they just always present women in a way that's like very where they're objectifying women, almost like in a way that's like porn-like. Just pay attention to different movies you watch. Everything is told from a perspective, and it's like, whose perspective are you telling this story from? So that makes me cringe a little bit. I think we've gotten to a place where we don't have to tell stories to make them feel comfortable. Like I really do feel like that show is intended to be informative for white people. It's almost like a safe way for white people to get to know black people on their own terms. Like it's not black. It's not a show that's black. 'Cause there's certain things that we know that he goes out of his way to highlight and explain on the show.
I see what you're saying. However, so I know, so people were comparing, this show to, it's just like a cheaper version of Blackish.
Cheaper? Why cheaper?
I guess probably just not. People probably just think it's not done as well.
Oh.
As Blackish or whatever, but like if people are comparing it to that and people are saying it's like a similar show, like I don't recall people being this. If it's the same show, whatever, I don't recall people being this uptight about Blackish when that first came out.
I think there were conversations about that show being that way, but then again, maybe not. But I feel like he kind of picked up the coonery, as they would say.
But all right, so, but I will say I have to say is like I'm not really like an entertainment guru or anything like that. Even though I'm trying to be though.
Claim it.
Trying to be. But yeah, you guys can check us out at Dry Stereo TV on YouTube. Tim doesn't like when I do that. But like yeah, like so I'm not an entertainment guru or whatever, right? But my theory is that he did well on Blackish. Blackish was he probably made a lot of money doing Blackish, right? Let's face it. And when shows tend to do well, they'll have a spin-off of another show. Or, because they do it in movies all the time. Like, for a prime example, Fast and the Furious. There don't need to be 10 movies in Fast and the Furious. But those movies make so much money that they just keep making more Fast and Furious movies. And I think there's another one coming out. But just the movie does so well.
And I remember when that movie came out. It was
Yeah,
I was in
like,
Midland and people were like revving up their engines in the parking lot of the movie theater.
Yeah,
They were that excited about it. But I haven't seen any of those movies since. I don't think I've seen Fast and Furious.
I mean, they're still great movies to me. But there definitely didn't need to be 10, 11, 12 movies. But I just think that Blackish did well. And then I guess the opportunity came along.
It's definitely a great opportunity. I will say that. And a lot of people are like, man, just give him some credit for making it this far. Like, don't hate on him.
Yeah,
but I feel like.
And plus, like I will say that like every genre has their target audience. Yeah, he's probably trying to go for he probably does want to capture the black audience. But I would go even so far to say is that like there are subcategories of black audiences though. Not just the whole black audience. So if it's not your cup of tea.
Somebody that watches Medea is probably not gonna watch Black as Fuck.
Yeah. So like if it's not your cup of tea, then you don't have to watch it.
Well, it's not necessarily about it being your cup of tea. I could probably watch it and enjoy it. But it's about like what message are you presenting to the world? Like what themes are you constantly repeating in your art form? Like, what's the message in what you're saying and what you're doing?
I see your point. But I'm glad you brought up Medea, because like there are Medea's for like a specific category, right? Like usually like Tyler Perry has made it known that like he has a core group of women that love Medea.
Cult following.
Yeah, he has a cult following.
I remember when they were plays, there was a cult following before they made
Yeah, so and then people aren't I just feel like this it's hypocrisy for these same people not to judge like Tyler Perry or even be in the same thing as black or even not have such strong opinions about Blackish, but Black as Fuck. Like he's portraying this in a completely different way.
No. Nobody's saying he's portraying us in a different way. In fact, it's probably the same way we've always been portrayed. It's very like white. It's centered in whiteness and superiority to whiteness. So I don't know if you can see that, but I can. If you read between the lines of the show, there's nothing progressive or empowering about that show. It's kind of like black man chases after the standards of what white culture sees as being acceptable or success, and he just can never seem to make it. That's that's his character.
Alright, so I'll give you that. I remember one scene specifically. I don't know if you're gonna watch the rest of the season. whatever. I just remember one scene specifically where I agree with that point. But, well, are you gonna watch it? I'll just tell you the scene.
Tell me.
All right, so it was basically about Celeste. Like they were at some restaurant, whatever, right? And then he was coming out, and then obviously he valeted his car because his car was expensive, probably like almost a $200,000 car, probably, whatever, right? But so then he sees a producer friend, a white guy that he knows. He sees a producer friend that he knows, whatever, and so like they chop it up for a couple minutes, and when they bring Kenya's car around, then they bring the guy's car around. Kenya has this supercar.
This is the first episode.
Is it the first episode?
Yeah, I saw this. Keep going.
Is it the first episode? Okay. I don't think it was the first episode, but maybe it is the first episode. But so he brings a supercar around, and then the guy has a Prius. All right, and then he was taken back that the white guy didn't acknowledge about his car, or wasn't impressed is the word I'm looking for. Wasn't impressed that he had that car.
Okay.
But like that's really the only scene specifically that I know where he was just like, I can't believe it.
Well, that was the bulk of what I saw, and it doesn't take much for me to pick up on what his MO is. You know? Sometimes you have to agree to disagree. I'm not here to convince people to see that show differently, but I see it this way, and I think we can do better. I think we can do better. I think we can tell more empowering stories without always having to make whiteness the ideal.
So as an example, like if you were Kenya, right? Like what would you have done, or what would you portray? I guess as an example in the show, if it was Black AF and you were the producer.
I think I need more time to think about that, but what I would aim for is kind of like centering the show's ideas and conflicts and themes on things that are unapologetically, unmistakably Black. I wouldn't rely on comparisons between Black and white achievement or Black and white standards of beauty. Yeah. Like I feel like Wakanda tried to do that. Black Panther, they tried to do that. They tried not to have like a white hero. I think at some point while the movie was being made, there was like a white protagonist, but they got written out. I could be wrong about that. Maybe I just made that up. But most of the time when they tell a story that makes it to the box office, a white person has to be centered in that film. Even if there's Black characters, a white person has to be the hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they have to be like the primary lead and everybody else is kind of like secondary. So Wakanda or Black Panther was really unique because it didn't do that. And it was successful.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that I've talked to about Black as Fuck, they're like, you can't get as far as he got without kissing white people's ass. And I'm like, that's not necessarily true. Because Tyler Perry, bootstraps all day. Everything he did on his own. You know what I mean? We might not like his art form or get it all the way, but it's for somebody. And you have to admit, you have to respect his hustle and the successes that he's achieved on his own.
And then I just to say something about Tyler Perry really quick. I watched his interview on T.I.'s podcast.
Oh, T.I.'s podcast.
Yeah, it's called Expeditiously.
Are you serious?
No, I'm dead serious. That's the same podcast. And then like in the middle of it, T.I. is capitalizing in Expeditiously. All right, so but it's called Expeditiously. because he says that all the time. You know, yeah. So, but Tyler Perry said, like, no, and I really respect his hustle because he says even when he was first starting out, right, he made sure that he owned everything and that he didn't give away anything, whatever. So even when people were investing in his projects, whatever, he still owned his projects, whatever, right? So.
Yep.
And then he knows that he makes most of his money on the back end, anyways. Where he doesn't make a lot up front, but on the back end is where he makes most of the money.
What do you mean by back end?
Like residuals and stuff. Like for example, like if a movie goes to like the box office or whatever. Well, so you have the budget, right? And then all this money goes out. So it's like up front, like he's spending all this money to get the project made. And then he makes his money, like for example, like on like whatever, like the box office numbers, like residuals, streaming, things like that. So, but I don't know. I guess we're not here to change anyone's opinion about Black AF, but just do your own research and come up with your own opinions. And so, with that said, we will be right back with Tim's talk. I'm interrupting the program to tell you something very important. If you are watching this, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, or you can follow us on social media. My Instagram is @RogersNeighborhood, and Jatim's is _JETAIMEC. Now, back to the show.
All right. So I have been going to this online science policy class on Thursdays at 7 o'clock, hosted by NYU. And they had a specific subject. I came to the class late, but at the end they're like, okay, questions on COVID-19. And my question was, would the strategies that countries that have been able to avoid a lot of deaths from COVID-19, and the example I used was the Netherlands, would their strategies apply in the United States? Like, could we have done that and saved more lives? So I'm hearing there was an island recently, I think Barbados or the Virgin Islands, I'm not sure, but they've avoided any deaths from COVID-19. Where else? Not Sweden, or maybe Sweden, but Vietnam. Vietnam has done a great job, and I'm just curious. Would that apply to the United States? Because the United States is getting a lot of criticism about, we're supposed to be the United States and we're supposed to have all this money and infrastructure, and all these smaller countries are able to handle this pandemic better than we can. But one of the things that the Netherlands did that I thought was really cool early on, they mandated that you can only interact with people at work and people at home. And they limited people going anywhere else outside of work and home. So that way you avoid the economy being impacted, because people can still go to work in a way. So I heard that was like their primary strategy. So I thought that actually gave me hope that this thing isn't like bigger than us. Because the way the United States acts, it's like, oh, people gotta die, this is how it is, and this is just so, this is manageable. It's nice to know that this is manageable and it can be managed. We just have the wrong people managing it. And then the other thought I've been having is, I think it's interesting, the connections. There's definitely some things that aren't similar when you compare the AIDS crisis to COVID-19. But one of the biggest things that sticks out to me is kind of like the lack of urgency and preparedness. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but when in the 80s, when AIDS just started becoming a thing, it took grassroots pressure, it took protesting for the government to take AIDS research seriously and treatment seriously. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that it was being, it was only what's the term? The only people being affected by it were gay men, or like a population that's seen as inferior, undesirable, you know, and that's why they were so slow in addressing it. And I think that definitely applies to COVID-19 too. I think from the beginning they kind of knew that it was going to affect people with pre-existing conditions, you know, and people who are in positions of power. And I know from a fact, just from having like relationships with white people that have been transparent with me, that white people are very tribal, and if they don't think something is going to be impacted by them, it doesn't matter. And that's the only way that I can rationalize the mayor of Las Vegas. I don't know if you saw that.
I just know she wanted to open the casinos.
Not just that, she wants to offer up First City as a control.
As a placebo? Yeah.
Yeah, a control.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And Anderson Cooper, I've never seen him react like that ever on camera. He was just like, oh my God, like he was just sick. And yeah, she was just like, people were saying she was drunk. I don't think she was drunk. I just think that's how white people in positions of power think. They don't make decisions for the greater good.
And plus,
think about how the Constitution was written. It wasn't written for certain people, but we act like it was, but it really wasn't. That's just an example. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, and I definitely don't think that she wouldn't be on the front lines anywhere.
What do you mean?
Like, she wouldn't be out there, or like, for example, whatever, like casinos are usually heavily populated with, you know, people gambling, whatever, right? So like, it's like, for example, she wouldn't be at the casino gambling. Just as an example, whatever. She's not going to be in an area where there are going to be a lot of people.
She might. She seems not to be too nervous about this whole thing.
Well, like I don't even know what the numbers were in Las Vegas. Were they locked up?
I don't know. But it's interesting how her attitude is very common. It's like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I just don't remember people in positions of leadership being so shallow when I was a kid. It's like,
I mean, I just think you're more aware now, and you're paying attention.
Maybe, but I don't remember the news being this ridiculous. Like, there was a level of dignity.
Yeah.
Like, we're at least gonna pretend like we got our shit together.
Yeah, and that we care.
And that we care.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even pretending.
Yeah, it's just like I just think, well, just for that example, like I just think they probably lost so much money, whatever, that she's just trying to open up no matter what's going on. Like, she doesn't care. She's just like, hey, let Las Vegas be the first city to open up, and then we'll see how it goes.
Like I said, it's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I saw actually, just one last note, and then we'll wrap this segment up. But I saw an article where it said, you know, so Georgia opened on Friday, I believe, right? Or they opened. Yeah, I think.
And then they got reprimanded by Trump for opening too early.
I don't know if they got reprimanded. I just think they disagreed.
They opened before even Trump wanted them to open, I believe.
But I saw an article today that said there were like 635 new cases and 20 deaths since they opened, apparently. But I guess, like I said, I just think there's always gonna be like, what am I trying to say? Like, there's no right or wrong day to open, whatever. I mean, it's just, right now it's indefinite. Nobody knows when.
And a lot of this is we don't know how this virus behaves. Like, I think it's pretty much been ruled out that once you've had the virus, it doesn't mean you're immune to it. So that's not a good thing.
That's rolled out now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't hear these, but I heard on the radio today that there are some new symptoms that people.
Oh yeah.
That they found.
Neurological symptoms, like people have been having strokes related to COVID-19. I heard this a couple weeks ago before I started hearing about the strokes. Like I heard like some people were losing their sense of taste before they got sick, and some other things that were like neurologically related. But yeah, There's a lot we don't know about this artist.
Alright guys, we will be back with the question of the day. And Tim has got some explaining to do.
Explaining.
Alright, so guys, we're back with the question of the day. And like, I need to know if this is true. And I need Jatim to explain this because Jatim told me a couple weeks ago, probably that Roger is an old name. An old man name.
I told you that.
Yes. Even before
On
you...
the meme?
No, even before you tagged me on the meme.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, even before you tagged me on the meme.
Because I was debating on whether or not Roger was an old man.
Yeah. Then there was a meme that came out, and it said, "List old black man names," right? And then I don't know, was that your friend that posted that? Or
somebody, a friend of mine.
Okay, so Jatim's friend put Roger as an old black man name.
And then I tagged
And then
your
Jatim
name.
tagged me on it. So then I went back and forth with Jatim and your friend for like a couple of times or whatever, right? But I want to know, like, how is Roger an old man name though?
Roger, you're the only Roger I know.
But I'm not old though.
Unless I really think back, I'm telling you, the only Rogers I've ever met have been like senior citizens. That's a senior citizen name. That name's a little outdated. It's not like DeMarcus. That's a modern black man name. What are you looking for?
So, well,
Looking for the list?
no, but no. I'm just saying this shows how much people interact with my posts and shit like that, whatever. It's like I put on Instagram as Roger an old man name, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got people that looked at it, but nobody voted.
Oh.
Nobody said yes or no. I'm like, thanks guys.
I don't think it's an insult.
I mean, it's fun to talk about, but I mean, I don't think it's an old man name though.
But the specifically old black man name. Some of my favorites I'm gonna list off. Cleophas. I went to college with a guy named, oh God, what was his name? Cletus. Yeah, that's an old black
Okay.
name. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but like, how was Roger in that category though? Like Cletus.
Albert is an
Cleophas.
old black man name, and Albert's in the same category as Roger. It's not like over the top.
Albert's not.
Albert is definitely old. Nobody's named their son Albert anymore. And then my cousin put Commodore on my list. That was our great grandfather's name. My grandfather's name, Joe Fred. Oh, Willie Earl, Willie Ray. So true.
I'm trying to think in my family are like old black man names, like
Anything in
Oh, I
Wood,
got one,
Roy, Otis, or Ophis.
Naaman.
Naaman?
Mm-hmm.
How do you spell it?
Naaman.
Where does that name come from?
That was my actually that was my dad's dad, but it's really his stepfather.
Never heard that name before.
Yeah, Naaman. And then his wife's, or a black name, old black lady name, Sadie.
Oh, big time.
And then so that was my dad's mom, and then my mom's mom, her name's Gladys.
Yeah. My grandma's name is Maggie Louise.
Maggie Louise?
Mm-hmm.
She's from the South, isn't she?
Of course.
Mississippi?
Alabama.
Okay. I've never been to Alabama.
Yeah. My other grandma's name is Mary Ruth. Like they all had two-part names.
Yeah. I think that was a thing in the South, though. I think.
I guess so.
So I think in like my family's from Virginia for the most part, but I think like they do that down there too. But so needless to say, the moral of the story is that Roger is not in that category at all. So
don't be ageist, Roger. There's nothing wrong with having an old black man.
Well, I just disagree that it's an old black man name. But all right, we'll be back with a positive thought, and we'll be right back. All right, guys. As we wrap up the show, I just want you guys to keep in mind, or at least I want to tell you guys that I know everyone's worried about this COVID-19, when the economy is going to open up, and all that, but I just want to let you guys know that worrying is interest paid on a debt that you may not owe. Right, I'm going to say that again. Worrying is interest paid on a debt that you may not owe. And I say that most of the things we worry about never happen. Right? So, and I believe if I'm gonna put numbers behind this, like 90% of the things we worry about don't happen anyways, and then the other 10% is how we react to the situations that do happen.
I would like to see the research that backs that statement.
But I think it's an exaggeration, or just like a figure of speech. But the point of that is just to say that, like I said, most of the things that we worry about don't happen anyway, and then it's really how you react to the certain things that do happen to you.
I agree.
But guys, with that said, that's the end of the show, and we will be back next week with episode 8. Until next time.